You are 13 years old when the tax collectors come to your village. Your father owes rice he cannot pay, so they take you instead. The samurai with the tall helmet doesn't even look at you as you are dragged away, barefoot, the dust of your childhood clinging to your ankles. Your mother cries at the door, her voice breaking like dry bamboo, but her words fade with the fields behind you. You think you are going to serve in a castle kitchen, maybe as a stable boy. You are wrong. You are going to war. The camp is chaos, smoke, shouting, the clang of steel on steel. Men with shaved heads and ragged armor shuffle like cattle, some no older than you, others with faces cracked by years of battle. They hand you a spear taller than your body and laugh when you nearly drop it. From now on, you are not a farmer's son. You are Ashigaru, a foot soldier, cannon fodder in your lord's endless battles. Your bed is the bare ground, damp with rain and crawling with lice. Your meal is a handful of millet that barely fills your mouth. The armor they give you is little more than scraps of leather and iron that pinch your skin raw. At night, you shiver under the stars, listening to men cough, pray, or curse the lords who own their lives. Training begins before dawn. You stand with rows of other boys and men, spears braced, while the captain bellows orders until his voice cracks. He shows you how to lock the shaft under your arm, how to step forward in rhythm, how to turn your body into a wall of teeth. Your arms ache after minutes, but if you lower your spear, the lash strikes your back. Days blur into weeks of drills, of blisters that tear open and bleed, of feet that swell, until walking feels like fire. You learn the first lesson. Your body is no longer yours. It belongs to the spear. The first battle comes sooner than you are ready. A rival clan marches on your lord's land. The sky is thick with smoke as you are shoved into formation with hundreds of others. The ground trembles with the beat of war drums. The samurai ride ahead in polished armor, banners snapping in the wind. You stand behind them in the mud, spear in trembling hands, mouth dry as dust. The horn sounds, the enemy charges, the samurai clash in a thunder of steel, but you are pushed forward into the mess. The air fills with screams and blood. You thrust your spear at shadows, at faces you cannot see, at men no older than yourself. Steel fights flesh. You do not know if it is theirs or yours until your arms are slick and your ears ring with terror. All around you, men fall, trampled into the dirt, their bodies broken like discarded straw dolls. You survive. Barely. When the sun sets, the field is carpeted with corpses and the crows gather like a black storm. You stumble among the dead, your body numb, your mind blank. That is the second lesson. Survival is not victory. It is only proof you were not the first to fall. Seasons pass. You are 15, then 16. War is the only life you know. You march until your legs feel hollow. You sleep in ditches, under rain, in barns stolen from starving peasants. You loot villages on your lord's orders, dragging food from crying families not much different from your own. Sometimes you look into their faces and see your mother's eyes. You take the rice anyway, or the lash will remind you who you belong to. The pay is a few handfuls of coin, barely enough to buy sandals that wear through in weeks. But coin is not what you are really paid with. You are paid in scars, in memories you cannot wash from your hands. The wars grow larger. Guns arrive from across the sea. Strange weapons that spit fire and thunder. You line up with other Ashigaru, a matchlock heavier than your spear, smoke filling your throat with every shot. You're told to reload again and again while arrows fall like rain and the enemy charges. The sound is deafening, men blown apart beside you, but you keep firing because fear is useless and orders are law. By 18, your body is lean, hardened, scarred. You can march for days on a handful of rice. You can thrust a spear into a man's chest without flinching. You can strip a fallen soldier of armor before his body cools, because a scrap of iron might save your life tomorrow. That is the third lesson. Mercy is a luxury, and luxuries are for the dead. Sometimes when your lord wins, you taste reward. After a great victory, the samurai toss you plunder, coins, seike, maybe even a woman taken from a captured town. But the taste is ash in your mouth because you know tomorrow another warlord will rise, another banner will fly, and you will be thrown back into the meat grinder. You fight in sieges where walls crumble under fire, where boiling oil scalds men alive, where screams echo until your ears go numb. You fight in ambushes where arrows blot out the sky and the river runs red. You fight in the snow, in the mud, in the choking heat of summer. The land itself seems to groan under endless war, yet the lords demand more. At 20, you rise a little higher. The captain names you leader of a squad. It is not an honor, just another burden. Now you march with 10 boys at your back, their lives balanced on your voice. Some are 12, too small to carry their spears. Others are gray-haired farmers dragged from their fields. You drill them, teach them to thrust in unison, to lock shields, to obey without question. You tell them the truth. Courage is nothing. Discipline is everything. The battles never stop. Your squad grows smaller with each fight. You bury boys who looked at you with trust, men who whispered their children's names before they fell. You stop learning their names. It hurts less that way. By 23, you are scarred inside and out. You have seen samurai carve through men like grass, their blades dripping as they laugh. You have seen warlords betray their allies and leave whole armies to die. You have seen peasants burned alive for refusing to give rice. You have learned the fourth lesson. Loyalty is demanded, but it is never returned. Still, you fight, because there is nothing else. The years grind on. You are 25, then 28. Your hair thins, your teeth ache, your hands are twisted from gripping wood and steel. You are not old, but the wars have aged you into someone you barely know. The younger Ashigaru call you old man, though you remember climbing the steps of your village only yesterday. Then one day you are caught in a battle bigger than any before. Tens of thousands clash in a sea of banners. Firearms thunder. The ground shakes with the weight of armies. You lead your squad into the storm, your voice hoarse, your spear steady. But the tide turns, the enemy surges. Your lord's banner falls. The line breaks. Chaos swallows you. Men trample each other in panic. Samurai fall beside Ashigaru, cut down without care. You fight until your arms are numb, until your body is riddled with cuts. At last, you are dragged down into the mud, faces screaming above you, blades flashing. As the sky darkens and the cries of battle fade, you understand the final lesson. And Ashigaru's life is not his own. It belongs to the war, to the lords, to the endless hunger of history. Your blood soaks into the ground that never remembers your name. The banners above still wave, the drums still beat, and another boy is already being dragged from his village to hold the same spear you once did. The cycle begins again.